Hello, everyone. Attorney Joy Farrell here today, and Attorney Kimberly Hall is going to be our special guest as we do this series that we have titled Personal Injury Pop In, or for short, PI Pop In. So, we're going to be popping in, talking about some important personal injury facts that you need to know. And the difference is so, for you guys who have been watching me for years at this point, I'm usually on here talking about our family law practice, which is our divorce, custody, child support, etc. But today we're bringing in the other half of our practice area, which is the personal injury side, which includes auto accident cases and slip and fall. And so the difference between the practice areas, when we talk about family law, we know when we need a family law attorney. We know that it's forthcoming. We can see the divorce from a mile away. We know we're going to have a custody issue. We know we need child support. And we can kind of enter into representation at our leisure, kind of when we're ready to emotionally deal with that type of case. When we deal with personal injury, it's completely different because none of us know the moment where we may be involved in an auto collision or when we're at the grocery store and based on their negligence, we slip and fall and hurt ourselves really bad. And so this practice area is a little bit more difficult to hone in the importance of being knowledgeable because you don't even know you need us yet. But one day, although we hope not, one day you may find yourself in a situation or somebody that you love maybe in a situation where you need appropriate representation. And so I encourage you guys to follow along on our PI Pop In series so that you have all the knowledge that you need to know to be able to educate yourself and educate others about what should happen in the event you're in a car accident. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. For those who don't know me, those who already know me, you guys know my name is Attorney Joy Farrell. I'm the managing partner here at Farrell Warren Associates. We're located right off 285 in Tucker, Georgia. And you can reach us on our website. The website is going across the bottom of the screen. The numbers at the bottom of the screen. If you have any type of personal injury case and you want to know if you can get representation, allow us to be your first phone call. If we can help you, we will. If we can't, then we will be honest about that. So the other person that's going to be joining me today, and I'm going to put her on the screen and I'm going to come off the screen, is Attorney Kimberly Hall. Attorney Hall has been with the firm now for, I want to say 2 or 3 years. She has over a decade of experience in personal injury, which made her the perfect person to head up our entire personal injury department here at the firm. So let me put Attorney Hall on the screen, let her introduce herself to you really quick, and then we're going to hop right into our conversation for today. So here is Attorney Hall.
Hi, I am attorney Kimberly Hall. I oversee the personal injury department here at Farrell Roy and Associates. And as attorney Farrell already graciously said, I have been doing personal injury now for 10 years, I guess now going into my 11th year. My background, even before I went to law school, was in personal injury. So, I've been doing personal injury actually longer than 10 years because I started as a paralegal. I have a true love for it. I love talking to my clients. I love making a difference in their lives, and I love getting them the results that they deserve from their case. And so, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and get started.
Yes, we are. And can you still hear me okay, Kim?
I can, yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to put our other website on the screen really quick. I know you guys are really used to the catchy slogans you hear on the radio and all the jingles and all of that. And sometimes you just can't remember how to spell Farrell. Let's just be honest. So, our other website that you should be able to easily remember is Pretty Smart Lawyers because, hey, we're pretty smart. And so just tag that in your phone, hashtag. If you look that hashtag up on social media, you'll find us, type in the website. It will lead you directly to us. Okay. So just put that in your mind. Pretty Smart Lawyers. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to put Attorney Hall back on the screen. And we're going to get into the 5 things you should do after an accident. And we'll start with tip number 1. So, Kim, before we get into this, Now, by the time people call us, right? Some
Yep.
people are actually on their A game. They know exactly what to do. They're getting ahead of the curve. But then we have those people who may call a week or two after their accident, and they think that by calling us, that's their first step. And at that point, we know, we already have some issues with their case. We already have a gap in coverage. We already have
Right.
possible liability issues because we didn't get a report on the scene or whatever. So we're going to be talking about what you guys need to do before you even pick up the phone to call us. So Kim, let's go right into the first thing they should be doing.
Call the police. Call the police. Call the police. And people sometimes say, hey, why do I need to call the police? There's not that much damage, or the other driver said they'll pay for it. It sounds good, but absolutely, absolutely do not listen to that and call the police. And why we say that is because calling the police is really the foundation of your case. It's so important. Now in Georgia, officers are showing up to collisions with body cameras on. And so, hey, if that other driver changes their statement later, if there was another witness there that spoke to the police, that's in your favor, being able to document the collision as it was on that day, all of those things are important. So do not let the other driver, hey, tell you, hey, I'm just going to pay for it. Or you say, hey, it's not really that bad. It's so important to call the police because the foundation of your case, a lot of that stuff and a lot of the information that we need is on that police report and can be on that body camera.
So Kim, what happens when the client's in a situation right now during COVID, and we know we have some police departments that are saying they're not showing up on the scenes for auto accidents. They're too short staffed. They're not showing up. What are our options right now with COVID?
So even with COVID, you can actually demand that the police come out and give you a report. Some counties, as Attorney Farrell said, hey, they're just absolutely not coming out if there are no injuries. If that is your case, I just hate to tell clients get caught up in, hey, I don't feel the pain right now. The problem is that you could feel the pain tomorrow or later when you get home when the adrenaline wears off. So it is so important to get that police report done. If you are in a county where the police just refuse to come out due to COVID, you can still go to the local police department and have the actual report written up at the police station. However, in order to do that, it kind of leads us to the next point, which is documenting the accident. You need to have a copy of that other driver's information. You need to have a copy of their insurance, a copy of their license. You need to take all the pictures of the damage to your car, the damage to their car, all of that. Anything that will go on the police report, you need to document it and then go down to the police station and have the police report actually drawn up at the police station. So you do have another option if the county that you have the collision in is not coming out. However, most counties have now made the transition back to coming out, even during the pandemic.
Okay, so we talk about documenting the accident, getting
Mhm.
those pictures, showing, even if it's minor, right? We get the pictures. What do we do? I guess if the other party is saying, hey, I want to pay for this out of pocket, don't call the police. I don't want to give you my information because we know they're definitely not going to pay out of pocket if you don't even have a policy to back up, if they don't follow through. So if someone's not wanting to give you their information, is there any option at that point?
Yeah, so the option is please don't forget to take your pictures, right? Absolutely do that. The
All right,
other
figure out
thing
how to
that
put it on the
we're
screen.
excited we figured out how to split the screen.
I don't know how
um,
I did it, so oh well.
so don't touch it, right?
Right.
So it's super important that get that person's license plate on their car. So there have been rare instances where sometimes we get insurance information is not correct, or you have the person refusing to give their actual insurance information. So with that, we can actually send a letter to DMV saying, hey, this car was involved in an auto collision. they didn't turn over their insurance information, DMV can then send out a letter to that person and say, hey, we have some evidence that you were involved in an auto collision. If you fail to come forward with the correct information, we can suspend your license. So there are rare instances where you can get that done. I have been able to do it on a few occasions here in the state of Georgia. So don't feel defeated if the person is just like, hey, I'm just not going to give you my information. And honestly, the other part of that is if they refuse to give it to you, you can also report it as a hit and run and tell the officer, hey, I have the person's tag number, the make and model of their car. And then from the police station, that particular officer or lieutenant, whoever, can also pull the information. And I have had cases where the officer will go to the home and then write a ticket for a hit and run as well.
So I know we're going to talk about this in another series of the PI Pop-In, but just real quick, because this is crucial for everybody. When you get hit by an uninsured driver or a driver that does a hit and run, please tell them what policy they need to have on their own policy. And when they finish listening to this, I want them to call their insurance company today.
Yeah, you need to call. So that part on your insurance policy, it'll say UM or UIM or underinsured or uninsured motorist. That is so important. And a lot of people don't have it because it causes their policy to go up $5 and $10. But that $5 and that $10 can really help you. Unfortunately, we have had cases that we've had to turn away because the person did a hit and run, which means you weren't able to actually get the tag number or the make and model. You don't have enough information to track that person down, which means you have to file it on your own insurance, right? So they'll cover your property damage. That's no problem. But if you were injured, there's not going to be any money there to protect you. And people are like, hey, they hit me. It's not my fault. I get all that and I understand. However, the law does allow you to still have financial recovery under your own policy. So it is important. Do not reject it. Okay. A lot of people reject it. When we get those policies, y'all don't put an X and sign it.
And really, if we really look at it, because I know I've gotten new policies recently with new cars and stuff like that, the insurance adjuster almost waives it for you. Like when they send you the quote or the policy, they automatically take it out. It's really something you have to say, hey, I see that you waived out on the UM or the UIM. I want that. I want that on my policy. And they say, oh,
yeah,
okay,
some people,
because they're trying to
think that they have full coverage. Mm-hmm. That means in any circumstance, and full coverage just means the minimum limits for the state of Georgia, which is $25,000 worth of coverage. If you hit somebody else, that doesn't cover, and we'll get into this in another conversation, it doesn't cover med pay. It doesn't cover if somebody hits you and they don't have insurance. It doesn't cover if you get hit by somebody else and they don't have enough coverage to cover all of your medical bills, your time off work, your pain and suffering. So that UM is in place and people are like, hey, I don't want you to touch my insurance. I don't want my premiums to go up. You're already paying for it, people. So please understand the importance of having UM coverage. It is to protect you. You will be surprised how many people out here, I don't know if people still say this, riding dirty because they don't have any kind of issue. Do they say that now? They ride dirty.
I don't know what the slogan is, but I don't think it's that.
So, it's important that you have your own self-protection, right? That is so important. And that's really, if you don't take anything else away from UM coverage is protection for you, right? Mm-hmm. It's to cover you. Yeah. And so there are some additional things you can do on your policy, such as med pay, and we'll get into that on another PI Pop-In. But yes, if you do not have, go pull your policy, pull it up on your phone and look to see if you have UM. If there is no money by it or it's not on your policy, you do not have it. So you need to call your insurance company and get it added. It is so important. It's so important. I have clients all the time. They get in an auto collision. They got $50,000 in bills. Person only got $25,000 in coverage, and that's it. But had they had UM, they would have had additional money to recover for their injuries and pain and suffering. So please, 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 if you don't have it, add that UM to your policy.
Got it. So what's tip number 3?
Seek medical attention. So This is always a hard one, especially now with everything that's going on with COVID. People don't want extra exposure, and we get that and we understand that. And there are still ways to cover, not going into an emergency room. But, I still caution people when they don't do that. And the reason I say, or even urgent care, and let me tell you why. So,
And the insurance company don't care.
seeking medical attention is so important. And so let me tell you, like these cases, insurance companies are looking for reasons not to pay you. They're not looking for reasons to pay you.
Correct.
So if you go and you have an auto collision, and let's just say you go to your primary care doctor, they give you some pain medicine, and then a couple of weeks later you go to physical therapy and something is going on that's severe, right? For us, that's herniated disc or bulging disc. You may have a fracture. The insurance company can easily say, how do I know that was caused by the auto collision? They didn't seek any medical treatment for 2 to 3 weeks. They could have fell down their stairs at home. They could have had a work incident. And that gives them room, okay, to not pay you. And it goes back again to getting that police report, right? I just got into it with just the other day. The child that was in the car wasn't on the police report, right? And we worked to get it amended and all of that. I mean, and all they have to say, it wasn't on the police report. Like, this didn't happen. So it's the same thing. You don't have that police report. They can say, how do we know this accident happened? You don't go to the doctor. How do I know these injuries came from this auto collision that you don't have a police report for? So there are a lot of moving parts. So it is so important to get urgent care or emergency room care, because a lot of times they will do x-rays. In limited circumstances, they do MRIs, and for the most part, nothing's going to show up, right? And honestly, that could be to your advantage, because later on, now you have all this pain. It's still months and months. You're still not getting better. Now we go do another MRI. Now we do an x-ray, and guess what? Now we see things on there. And so now the insurance company can't say, oh, well, she fell down the stairs, or, she got hurt at work. No, she went in the day after collision. It wasn't there. 2 weeks later, now it's there. Now you can see these injuries. Now they're showing up. And so it's important to protect your case from the onset. A lot of times on the day of a collision, you don't feel all of the pain.
Mhm.
I give the simple example of Six Flags. At some point, I think we've all been to some kind of park, Disney World, but we're in the moment. We're excited. The adrenaline's rushing, and we can walk around for 10 hours. But the next day,
Be hurting.
you are feeling that pain. Every muscles you didn't even know you had hurt. And so it's the same thing in an auto collision. Your adrenaline is pumping. So, I mean, unless you have something broken or you're bleeding or there are cuts and all of that, like a lot of times you don't even feel the pain that is internal. So that's why it's important to go to the hospital, get it documented, like, hey, this is what happened. Hey, I got a little neck pain. I got a little bit of a headache.
What's important too, Kim, which we see from time to time, is like y'all got to be paying attention, because every doctor is not thorough.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're going to a doctor you've been to before. A lot of times they'll pull those old medical notes down into the current medical notes, just because that's the way the system triggers. And they'll look like you came in there for a pregnancy appointment when this is not that. And so you need to make sure you're appropriately and clearly dictating to your doctor why you are there. I was in an auto accident. I have pain in this area, and sometimes if you're like me, sometimes I can't tell the difference between the shoulder and the back, baby. I don't know. I'm like, my shoulder is my back. I don't know, but in this area, the back shoulder,
it's that area, absolutely,
all of it,
absolutely,
spinal cord. Be clear with the doctor, and or they have you circle those charts. So like, where you hurt at? Circle the shoulder, circle the back, because sometimes we're not familiar with where medically those things lie. And so when you get your printout after your appointment, they give you the release papers or the discharge papers or the summary, the medical summary. Look at it before you leave that office. If it has something on there that is not true or that is improperly documented, demand that it be changed right then, because the insurance company is looking at that and they will say, oh no, she didn't go to the doctor because of her back. She went to the doctor because of something else. And that messes up your case. And then if you're going over and over and over again, make sure your doctor's not pulling down the same statement every single visit. every visit is no way the paragraphs can say the same thing. Make your doctor accountable. Make them update. I didn't tell you my pain level was an 8. I told you it was a 4 today. Or I told you it was a 6 today. I told you that I was also now unable to sleep. You did not notate that in here. They need to see that this is getting worse, or we need to see that it's getting better. And getting better is okay. I know mentally sometimes people think, oh, I got this personal injury case going on. I just need to stay sick. We want you to get better. We
Absolutely.
want you to heal. Seeing progress is the goal. That's why you're in treatment. And so, it's okay to report a 4 if it's a 4, and it was a 10 3 weeks ago. Like, we want you getting better, and that's okay. Just make sure you're checking the doctor's notes, checking that work, make sure you're walking out of there is accurate. It does not get it fixed, because it's a lot easier for you to do it on the spot versus attorney calling 7 weeks later after all your treatment and your medical records have come in saying, hold on, doc, like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make
Right.
sense. They're not going to remember. They're not gonna know what to put, and now we're kind of stuck with it.
And that's so important. And a lot of times, in all fairness to the clients, right, we trust the doctors that we go to, and we do, our best to ensure that you are getting good treatment. But we are not in the doctor's office with you. And so a lot of times what can become problematic on my end is that when we're getting to the point we're trying to settle your case, you're like, hey, Attorney Hall, this, and this, and this, and this happened. But guess what that report say? Patient came in today, complained of back pain, did therapy, went home. So you saying, hey, I'm not able to sleep. Hey, I'm having issues at work. Hey, like, not telling your doctor that, not really communicating that, not really
No.
telling them how serious it is for you. Because understand, insurance companies look at these kind of cases all day. You are like codes on a paper for them. So we have to make sure we have insurance companies understanding your position. And on the back end, a client can say anything. But what is the most supportive of that? What is the most evidence, right, in your favor is what is in that medical record, right? Because they want to take what's in that medical record for solid gold, right? It's the top of the line gold that you can buy. And
Mhm.
so if it's in there, then it's really, really does help your case. So thank you, Attorney Farrell. That is so important, making sure you are documenting all these things, not being able to pick your children up, right? Maybe not being able to cook and clean as you usually would do. Sometimes we have people in very serious accidents. They aren't able to have sex with their spouse anymore, right? Those things are recoverable in a personal injury claim, but you have to be able to communicate that. And also in documenting your accident, let me add this part back under number 2. Another thing I tell my clients is keep a journal, write it down. And the reason that I say that is because you are able to now say, on October 27th, I got up and I couldn't pick my baby up. And so I had to call my mother-in-law to come and stay with me for 2 weeks. That kind of stuff is impactful for a case versus you telling me, Attorney, how I couldn't pick my kid up. I don't remember what day it was, but it was sometime while I was in treatment. So it is so important. And I had a case. He was in a very, very severe auto collision, badly bruised, broken ribs. He wrote in his journal every day for like 3 months. I had a stack this large to send over to the insurance company. There was not much conversation. They just paid the money because his pain was real. And that's not every case, right? I'm not saying every case is going to have this stack large of a journal, but how it's affecting you is important. So when we talk about documenting the accident, documenting your injuries as well is important, right? I ask for impact statements at the end of a case. Tell me how this affected you. But if you keep in that journal, I already know.
Right.
Sorry to go back to the other point, but I thought about that while we were talking about seeking medical attention.
So number 4 is where we come in. And you
Absolutely.
really, we can come in at any phase, really, but the best time for us to come in is right here at number 4.
So call us, call us, call us, call us. Sometimes people don't feel like they need an attorney. And this is what I tell people: call the attorney. Let the attorney tell you you don't need an attorney. Because there are some instances where you don't, right? And I'm
Right.
completely fine with that. I just told a client yesterday, like, look, I don't want to take your money. Like, This is something that's small. This is what you can do. And I actually told that client, give me a call back if you got questions. I'll be more than happy to give you some more information to guide you through this process. But for you to hire me, it would just be
Don't
making
make
me money.
sense. Yeah, it
Yeah, it
doesn't
would
make
just
sense.
make me money. You would
And
walk away with
and
just
I think that's the difference too with our firm is that we have integrity and
yes,
we have a certain level of service that we are adamant about
yes,
providing to clients. And on either side of our practice, under no terms will you ever see us taking on a case that we feel like is a waste of a client's money or that a client can do on their own or we can't produce results. We will not take a case. Just because we can take a personal injury case and whatever, we still gonna get the money off of it. We don't do that.
right,
We do not do that. It is our reputation, and your relationship with us is more important than any dollar we can ever make on your case. And so when you're looking for an attorney, and we'll talk about this in the future too, things you should look for in a firm, you got to look for integrity. A lot of times, just honestly speaking, just here, we are African American, female firm, and we're not advertising on our radio stations. On our radio stations where our people are, it's our counterparts who are creating these ads to target you. They're using the music, the jingles, the lingo to make you feel like they are in tune with you. But if you listen to the end of those commercials and say, this is brought to you by X and XYZ firm, look up that firm, see what they look like. And I promise you, they don't look like you 8 times out of 10. A few of them do, most of them don't. And so they're targeting our people and they don't understand like most of our people that are coming to us don't have privilege. And so they're almost attacking that, like, oh, let me take this money. Let me, you're here, you can just stay down there. We care about that. We care about the fact that you lost your job. We care about the fact that you can't get your kids to school. We care about all those things. And you're not just a number here. Every client has had an opportunity to meet with Attorney Hall because she heads up the personal injury. If you call these other firms, you'll never talk to an attorney. Maybe one time, but probably not. Like when you pick up your check and they need to explain to you why they took all your money, you might talk to an attorney. I don't know. But here, like having attorneys available, this is on both sides of our practice. If a client needs to speak with a lawyer, you talking to a lawyer, like
right.
period. And that's on that. Okay. So
When
make
they
sure
say no cap, is that right? Did I use that right? No cap.
we talk about this. It means no lies, right?
No lies, right?
No. So
A
no cap.
period. So
We're
that's such a good point, and I want to stress when you call us, you talk to me. Now there's a process, right? You got to do your intake, you talk to the paralegal, but you still talk to me. And after you talk to me, and I tell every client, and you won't find one client who will say they haven't spoken to me directly. They talk to me at the beginning of their case, they talk to me during their case, and they talk to me at the conclusion of your case. And that is important. I have a good, strong team. I love my paralegals to life, no question. But at the end of the day, you are my responsibility. And in
mm,
order for you to be my responsibility, I need to know you and you need to know me. And I tell
mm,
every client, hey, here is my direct email address, right? You don't have to go through somebody to get to me. You can schedule an appointment. We can talk at any point in time. My paralegals here will tell you sometimes I'm in here at 4:50, 4:55 returning calls because you called me. So I want to be so clear. Don't get tricked, right? Don't be fooled because you hear all this advertisement, on your radio station or on your TV while you're at home or any of that or on the butt, any of that, right? You are not speaking to those lawyers. Okay. A lot of them don't even live in the state of Georgia. So
facts.
you are not even you're not talking to them, and you're definitely not going to see them down at the office. They're definitely not going to do a Zoom call with you, which we are now doing, during COVID. So every client sees me and talks to me directly, and that is something that absolutely sets us apart from other firms because you don't belong to the paralegal. You belong to me, and I oversee every case. I know if you married, I know how many children you got, I know if them kids went to college, I know if they're in middle school. A lot of times clients say, hey, I had this loss in my family, and we sit and we talk about that. So, we truly here are more than just your attorneys. We are a family, and we care about you, and we care about your case. So
We
when you get
absolutely
past calling the police and documenting that accident and going to see that doctor, call us so we can take care of you and advise you of what your legal rights are. Because a lot of times calling the attorney is just knowing what can and cannot be done on your case. It's not always just about getting the case and signing up, but just so that you have the knowledge and the information to know if that's the direction that you need to go down. So call us if you've been in an auto collision.
That's right. And our last tip for today, number 5, super important in 2020.
Stay off social media. All right. If I was sending you a text message, I would have the claps in there. Okay. Stay off social media. Why stay off social media? Social media can be a good thing, right? That's not a negative thing. There have been times people post and then people say, hey, call the Fairell firm, call Joy, call Kimberly. Yes, like in those instances, okay, the problem can become that the insurance company, if you get to a point that we don't settle, it goes into the next phase, which we call litigation, your social media can be pulled. And even in the midst of settlement, even if it doesn't go, a lot of people pages aren't super private. So they can just put your name in Facebook and they can look at your feed. And so on your feed, you're out at the Halloween party. All right. You don't did all the drive-by birthday parties and baby showers, right? You don't went over to mama house for Mother's Day and y'all taking pictures. And that's not to say that you're not in pain, but it doesn't give the perception that you're in pain, right? Because if you've been good in your doctor's appointments, you're documenting everything, right? And in that documentation, you're saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. And on your Facebook, you cans.
Right.
All right. So it is so important to stay on social media. Just don't give them any room to do to even have the conversation. Just
Right.
don't put it out there, right? And I know people they got the urge to post and tell the world. Just don't do it until your case is over. Don't go places and allow people to tag you and just put it on your Facebook page, right? Even if you're not uploading it, other people can tag you, which uploads to your page, right? And then insurance companies or the attorneys can still see that information. So it's so important. Please, please, please stay off social media. You know, it's just no other way to put it. It can really be detrimental to your case. And cases have been lost because people were posting on social media and what they were seeing in their doctor's appointments or telling people just didn't add up when you went on their Facebook feeds. I had a client one time said they could hardly walk and was on Facebook in heels and then took a trip and posted it all over Facebook. No recovery on that case.
Yeah.
So please understand that social media, Instagram, all that stuff can really be detrimental to you. So please
I'll
do not.
say this too to you guys, because I know a lot of people don't realize the digital footprint that we create. If you go back and delete stuff, we can see all that
You'll
on the
see
social
it.
media reports. We can see exactly what you're deleting. And now it's becoming very apparent that you're trying to hide that maybe you misrepresented some things. So it's just best don't put it up there. You can post, but post regular things, sitting down, don't post like having a good time, having a party. Don't post walking around Disney World. Don't post stuff like that. You can save it for later and post it as hashtag late post, right? Latergram. And so do that. But when you start deleting stuff, the insurance company is able to see it. So that was your 5 tips today for what you should do after an auto accident. Again, I cannot stress, nobody watching this knows when or if they will ever be involved in a collision. But it is imperative that you already have this stuff tucked away so that if it ever happens, you say, I vaguely know what to do. But even if you don't remember what to do, you can always come back and reference this video. You can just come and find us, because if you don't remember nothing, remember that. Call us, prettysmartlawyers.com, or save this number to your phone. Just go ahead and save it to your phone. You can save it as Best Lawyers Ever, My Lawyers, Auto Attorneys, like whatever you want to do. Just save the number so you can reference it. And we'll be more than happy to help you at that time. We wish nothing but the best for you guys, and we hope no one is involved in an accident. But that's what we all wish. But yet, there are thousands of accidents every single day on the roads in Georgia. So thank you guys for tuning in today to our PI Pop In. You can expect a series of these videos to be rolling out over the next couple of weeks. If you have questions, just put them in the comments and we'll make sure we address them on a next video. Or you can DM me your questions and we'll make sure we get back to you. But if you've been in an accident, commenting on this video or going into the DM is not the place. You need to call the office because that is urgent. We don't like gaps from the time of accident to representation. So if you've been in an accident, this is not the form to contact us. Call us so we can move you to the top of our line for help. All right, 678 973 2803. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day.